Okay. We get to cook today. Probably a shorter stream. Simply because we probably don't have enough content to make this a 3-4 hour stream. If we do, then obviously I'll play it out, but if we don't, it's just gonna be a shorter stream for sure. So is hold on one sec. Gotta open my window. Okay. So to keep you guys posted, played a little bit off stream, recorded it, and it's going to go on YouTube, just so if anybody's curious or wants to check it out. I'm going to call it the bonus round, just because it's extra and it was done for farming. So for anybody that cares to watch that, you can watch that. If you don't really care about how I farmed my shit, then that's fine too, but I like to keep everything recorded just in case. So, a couple of things. I hadn't really shown. We already have the lunar tier. Farmed them. Got a couple of them done. But most importantly, I managed to get every weapon upgraded now. See, all the swords are done. Spears are done. And greatswords are done. Everything's at level 4. Took me about 2 hours off stream farming to be able to get everything. So, yeah, there's that. But we're pretty much set for the rest of the playthrough. No more farming. No more messing around. We can kind of just do the story. So the plan today is obviously finish Route C. But besides finishing Route C, I'm going to try to read a lot of item descriptions to see if they give us any bit of lore. Considering the game itself has given us some, but obviously it's a Yoko Taro game, so you're not going to get everything up front. But we'll figure it out via reading. Hopefully there's enough information for us to take in. I don't know how descriptive the item descriptions are, but I was told that they do carry some weight in the lore. I'm not expecting it to be anything like the Souls games where the item descriptions quite literally make up the whole entirety of the lore for that game. But I am expecting something. Some clarification on things maybe, or just like hinting at things, etc, etc. I'm kind of hoping something like that. So yeah, we'll see. Go ahead. There you go. What did I have for farming? Blast and Lance. Give me Execution and Lance. Oh shit. I forgot I had Weaken on this. This annoying little shit yesterday was all I had to farm over and over to get the broken earring. Did I buy healing items? Nah, we're fine. We're almost maxed. Just don't grief. The subdued bracelets were really... I know a lot of people complain about those, but they were really, like, non-existent for me. So Dark Blast plus Paralyze can knock these dudes down. And then you can just execute them that way. Also, we had quite a ton of money left over. We have like over 100k left over after everything. Let's see. Game feels a little bit quiet. I pressed the wrong button. I wanted to parry him there, but I pressed execution. Ooh. Twisted ring. Well, we ain't need that no more, but thanks. Oh shit. What happened to him? He got fucking sent. Can I not? Huh. I can't seem to be able to execute this guy. There you go. I was hoping something would spawn there. Word I didn't have, I guess. I think we're gonna be able to heal in one of these rooms, but Emil also has this. Cook that guy up. I'm getting better at fighting things, but certain days I'm just like very fucking ass. Like I just forget the basics. Huh. I thought it was that room that we get swarmed on, but I guess not. Fuck you. Nice. Charge attacks come real handy at times. They're fucking insanely good. I don't know why I didn't mess around with them at the start of the game. They're so fucking strong. Nice. Alright, this is where we are going to begin our lore reading. If there is too much to read, then I will probably read the second half a little bit later. So notes, weapon stories. Nameless blade. Smash, 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 smash. Sweat rolls down the faces of hard-scrabble men as they chip away at ironstone, their cheerful singing echoing through the mine. We are workers, workers in the mine. Dirty from tip to toe, again today we search for iron with all our might. Smash, 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 smash. Boom, 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 boom. The sound of women stomping on bellows in the mill. The sound of iron being gathered from the scorched sands. We are workers, workers in the mill, workers who send wind. Today we stomp the bellows again with all our might. Boom, 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 boom. Clang, 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 clang. The sound of swordsmith wielding hammers at their forges. The ringing of such transformative blows is stunning indeed. We are swordsmiths, swordsmiths who bring blades to life. Lords of steel. Clang, 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 clang. Rip, 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 rip. The sound of flesh being rent on the battlefield. The sound of killing enemies. Killing someone. Killing humans. Someone help me. It hurts. It hurts so much. Help me, mommy. Rip, 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 rip. Lily Leaf Sword. I love him with all my heart, as he does me. When we cross paths outdoors, he sends signals with his eyes that only I can understand. He treasures my gifts so much, he keeps them locked away in a safe. Oh, I couldn't ask for a better lover. I can't believe this. My best friend deceived the love of my life and stole him from me. One moment he was there and the next he was gone. All that remains are some of my gifts, which are scattered across this empty room. Everything else of value has been sold at the village marketplace. This will not stand. He hasn't abandoned me. He's just being tricked by that woman. I know he still has feelings for me. He must. I'm far more beautiful than she is, and he knows it. Oh yes, he knows. But I must make him see the truth, and quickly. I have to get her away from him. I have to kill her. Kill. Hurry up and kill. Consumed by her madness, the woman slaughtered the young husband and wife, hacking them with such force that the blade of her sword warped. The woman then went into hiding, leaving behind only clumps of unrecognizable meat and a sword with a horrible bent blade. But no matter how many smiths attempted to repair the sword, it never again retained its original shape. Nirvana Dagger. The girl had been betrothed to a local lord on the day of her birth. As she grew, her days were taken up studying proper bridal technique, while her evenings were spent staring out her bedroom window and offering prayers for her betrothed to the night sky. Oh, my lord, if only you would come to me but a single day sooner. Her home was occupied by several other girls her age. Each one shared the same betrothed, and spent her days studying bridal techniques and her evenings praying to the night sky. Oh, my lord, if only you would come to me but a single day sooner. One day, a quarrel broke out as the girls argued that only the greatest among them could become their lord's betrothed. None would yield an inch, each asserting only they alone could possibly satisfy him. Seeing this, their caretaker said in a kind voice, "Worry not, girls, each and every one of you shall surely become a bride to our Lord." Hearing this, every face lit up in an expression of pure joy. On the day they were to be married, the girls were brought to a place of cobbled stone they could see from the windows of their home. A single dagger was then placed before them, and the girls were told they needed to end their life here and now if they wished to meet their betrothed. Upon hearing this news, the girls scrambled to seize the dagger from one another, plunging it into their chests the moment they held it. Years later, a temple named the Betrothed was built on the spot where the girls took their own lives. Probably going to read a section of weapons, play a little bit, and do it again, just till we're through everything. Moonrise. There is a legend of long ago that speaks of a nation threatened by a great inferno. This nation, however, was saved from eternal hellfire by a sword with the power to freeze anything. Around this sword stood thousands upon thousands of human ice sculptures. A man on a journey to seek out weapons eventually discovered the sword. He wrapped it in several layers of cloth and took it with him, placing it in the bag he carried upon his back. But before the man realized what was happening, the cloth, the sword, and his own body ended up frozen solid. A traveling shrine maiden eventually discovered the sword. She offered a prayer to her god and gripped the hilt. But cold instantly shot through her fingers and into her body, freezing her solid. In her final moments, the shrine maiden unleashed words of great blasphemy to the god who had failed her. An enslaved woman in a mine eventually discovered the sword. Desiring an easy death over the continuation of her daily suffering, she grasped the weapon firmly. And while the woman did not freeze, she was also unable to pierce her own flesh. Soon, moonlight shone upon the blade of the weapon, reflecting the sight of the woman being beaten and dragged away by her master. That shit's dark as fuck, goddamn. Rebirth. That's right, this here's the weapon that'll be ending your life. Don't sweat it, there's nothing to worry about. It'll be a pain the likes of which you've never felt before. In fact, you won't even feel pain at first. It'll be more like water sliding across your skin. Honestly, for most folks, it ain't the pain that makes them scream. It's the sight of their own blood flowing out of them. Yeah, it won't be so easy. See this part of the blade right here? This part hurts like a real son of a bitch. It's my favorite, which is why I always save it for last. I like to use it after people's voices get too hoarse and you can't tell what they're saying. Which is a real... Fucking hell, are you ever loud? Mind piping down there? You're gonna make my hand slip. I won't kill you right away, so don't worry about a thing there, champ. I'm gonna take my sweet time before you finally give up the ghost. Honestly, you'd be surprised how much it takes to kill a person. I mean, think about it. People got 2 eyes, most of them anyway, and 2 ears. 10 fingers, 10 toes, 20 nails across the lot. And don't even get me started on joints, cause folks got hundreds of that damn things. Yeah, we got plenty of ways to keep ourselves entertained. Huh. Why am I doing this? Now ain't that a question? Buddy, I'm just doing what you've been doing for a good long while now. Nabbing innocent citizens on fake charges, torturing them, and putting their severed heads on display. That ring any bells, buddy? It should, cause it was all you. Guess maybe you forgot about all that, eh? Well, that's okay. I'll spend all the time it takes to make sure you remember every last thing you did to my wife and daughter. Oof. Earthworm's Claw. An elderly scholar sits in the dim reference room of a moldy museum. Before him lies a single box, which has long been sealed away. It is an article the museum's previous curator made abundantly clear should never be opened. It is said the box contains a fossil that drinks the blood of humans. What foolishness! One would think we as a people would have outgrown such nonsense. Only someone who spends all their life surrounded by books could possibly believe such preposterous superstition. He opens the box, which spits forth a cloud of dust, and beholds a single stone of bizarre shape. Looking at the attached handle, one could easily conclude it was used in some manner of ceremony. However, it could also be viewed as a weapon, and what a fascinating shape. Yes, this will require rigorous research indeed. How foolish everyone was to be afraid of something like this. The scholar chuckles softly to himself as he reaches up and gouges out his left eye with the fossil's tip. Blade of Treachery. Wait, we've read that one. Well, never mind, we clicked Nameless Blade. Blade of Treachery. The sisters were puppets of complex machinery. So fine was their construction that any who laid eyes upon them assumed they were human in every way. They were the embodiment of man's greatest technological achievements. They walked like humans, ate like humans, laughed like humans. The one thing they could not do, however, was shed tears, for they were not designed in that way. Because the sisters were machines, they felt nothing. Oh, they might mourn as humans did, but they experienced no true sadness, for they did not know what sadness was. Even when their friends perished in tragic accidents and their creator died of disease, they felt nothing. To the sisters, all it meant was that those people no longer existed. It was a warm spring's day when a lone cat wandered into their home. It was a scrawny, filthy thing riddled with disease. What a bother, the sisters thought as they looked down at the wretched creature. But they fed it milk, wiped it clean, and kept it warm, and soon the cat was well again. From that day forth, it would linger wherever the sisters were, brushing against their legs when it wanted food. If it caught a mouse, it would bring it back to boast its prowess. If it wanted love, it would cry out to them in a mewling voice. What a bother, the sisters thought. It was a cold winter's day when the cat came into their house, let out a feeble squeak, and died. Time and again did the younger sister shake the cat's body. Time and again did the elder sister call out to it, but the cat neither moved nor responded. In that moment, the sisters felt as though they felt something break deep inside their chests, and from that day forth, they truly felt nothing at all. That could be about Devil and Popola. It's pretty interesting, right? Beast Bane. Long, long ago, in a faraway kingdom, there lived 3 brothers. The middle brother was a famous general who commanded a vast army. People everywhere were terrified of his troops, for they were most violent indeed. The general loved to make war. He enjoyed nothing more than watching cities burn and corpses pile up, and he fought not to subjugate, but simply to destroy all that he could. His well-trained soldiers laid waste to towns, cities, and even nations for the sake of their general. And as they hewed and hacked and chopped, the general would chuckle to himself in the most vulgar of tones. The army marched on and on. Nations by the sea, nations in the mountain, nations in the deserts, nations in the tundra, nations to the east, nations to the west. The general cared not. He simply wished to watch it all burn. His orders were absolute, and for years beyond counting the soldiers killed and 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 killed. After some time, the army arrived in a certain nation. They killed its soldiers, they killed its townspeople, they killed its princesses and princes and dukes and bakers and lawyers and accountants and beggars and thieves. Eventually, a shabby general came pleading for his life with tears in his eyes, but they killed him as well. However, the soldiers thought he seemed familiar and tried to recall how they might have known him. In that moment, however, the general's daughter appeared, and they became so engrossed in ending her life, they never thought about the matter again. It could be that they killed their own general, right? Faith. There was once a famous poet in a land to the far, far east. Now in his twilight years, his ability had withered such that he could no longer craft a single stanza or verse. The poor poet spent every moment racked with sorrow for what had been lost. But one day a monk appeared by his side, gently placing a blade in his hand, and imparted the following words. Kill one by this blade for 1 poem, and 2 for 2 in kind, the likes of which will be more splendid than any this world has ever heard. Clinging to the monk's words, the man waited for the cover of darkness and cut down a man he encountered by the roadside. The following day he wrote a most beautiful poem, instantly reclaiming the fame and prosperity he had lost. The poet went on to kill 2 in succession. He killed one and wrote a poem, then killed again and wrote another, rising to almost dazzling levels of wealth and renown. But soon he became obsessed with knowing how splendid a poem he might write if he were to kill someone precious to him. He killed his wife and wrote a poem. He killed his children and wrote a poem for each. He moved through his estate, killing everyone there, writing and writing and writing and writing and writing. Eventually, he killed so many passerbys that the poem could not keep up. He would kill and write, then kill and kill and kill and kill, until in the end he took his own life, no longer crafting poems at all. All that remained was a blade wet with blood. Ancient Overlord. There once was a royal sword passed down in a prodigious kingdom that had prospered for generations. It is said the crystal embedded upon it contained a great magic, and should it ever absorb the blood of 10,000 people, it would glow bright red and grant its wielder immortality. However, this kingdom's final ruler, known to the world as the High King, valued the continued prosperity of the kingdom he had inherited from his ancestors over any prospect of eternal life. One day, the queen, the king's dearest love, lost her life in a tragic accident. She was with child, and the tragedy occurred shortly before the babe was to be born. Distraught with grief upon hearing the news, the aged king found himself unable to accept the prospect of his royal bloodline dying with him. In an attempt to continue the kingdom's legacy by attaining a body without death, the now mad High King used the sword to cut down any and all subordinates or citizens unlucky enough to cross his path. "If I am to be the final king," he was heard to cry, "then the kingdom survives so long as I live." He killed his subjects by the dozens, the hundreds, the thousands, and with each life he stole, the crystal's light grew more radiant. But when the crystal was nearly full, the king's ailing heart proved unable to bear the burden and burst, killing him on the spot. Alas, had he just slain the pregnant woman and unborn child that were before his very eyes, he would have taken exactly 10,000 lives. Crazy. Phoenix Dagger. There once was a woman who promised her hand to a man who was departing for the front. Devout by nature, she spent mornings, afternoons, and evenings in prayer for the safety of her beloved. Perhaps in response to her earnest pleas, one night a bird enveloped in light appeared to her in a dream and began to speak. "The man you love will surely return safely," said the bird in a beautiful voice. These words brought great comfort to the woman, and she began weeping tears of joy. "However," continued the bird, "his heart will surely not." Soon the man returned as the bird had foretold, his body covered in scars beyond counting. But as the bird had also foretold, he returned with an unfamiliar woman of extraordinary beauty at his side. Despite this, the pious woman could not contain her love for the man, and ran out to meet him as he approached. Surprised, the man embraced her, then collapsed to the ground. The pious woman stood over him, a bloody dagger in one hand and the ripe crimson fruit of his heart in the other. "His heart will stray no longer," she whispered. Amidst the gathering pool of blood, her face awash with pure ecstasy, she placed a tender kiss on her beloved's heart and offered a prayer of gratitude. Labyrinth's Whisper. So this girl had a huge set of horns on her, beautiful horns like a bull, just growing out of her head above her ears. I had myself a gander at where the horns met the head, and let me tell you, they were coming straight out of her skull. She was the only kid like that in the whole village. The others were all normal. The kid with horns, though, born real small, apparently. The horns were, not the kid. And hell, they would have needed to be. Fat chance the kid's mama would have been able to push out a pair of horns huge as that. You think a girl like that would have been bullied, right? Well, you'd be wrong. That kid was the hardest person for miles in any direction. Wasn't a man in the village who'd tangle with her, and we're talking men what ain't scared of nothing. She was the best at doing work when needed physical strength and all that. She always led the charge whenever shades attacked. And folks love her for that, sure, but most of all, they loved her because she was always cheerful and just plain tough. But one day, this huge shade attacked the village that was just too strong. It tore the men apart like old rags, and half the guys in the village died. The girl with the horns fought with all she had, but eventually she couldn't keep up, and the shade lifted her off the ground and ripped the horns right out of her head. The way she screamed was like nothing you've ever heard. Sound shook the earth itself, it did. After that, things got real quiet, so I stepped outside and found both the shade and the girl dead. Each of them had wounds all over, and they were leaking blood out of just about everywhere. And don't judge me for saying this now, but it was almost beautiful. Looking at dark red flowers in full bloom, you know? Hope that answers your first question about why folks in this village can't hear nothing. But you should know none of us think badly of the girl for making us this way. Being deaf is a hell of a sight better than being dead. Anyway, we've all talked over that day to death, and we think that final scream was her way of saying goodbye. Everyone in the village is honored that the last thing we ever heard was her farewell, and that's the God's honest truth. Fool's Embrace. I was saved from the despair that shackled me. I was freed from the fate that cursed me. I was pacified from the indignation that plagued me. I was changed by the day I met you. My flames will scorch the earth below. My fangs will know the taste of blood. My claws will rend my enemies asunder. My wings will soar the skies above. If your eyes are to be robbed of their light, if your skin is to be stained with blood, if your sword is too heavy a burden, if your lips can no longer produce speech, even if this body is snuffed out, even if these words are stolen, until our contract is complete, until the moment this warmth is lost. Iron Pipe, May 21st. We finally run out of money. Food just costs a lot more nowadays because of the war. We tried begging at the church, but they have their hands full caring for the wounded and can't spare anything. Yona's really lost a lot of weight. I wish I could get her something to eat. July 15th. We met a nice lady who gave us some food. At first, I thought she was homeless like us, but she said she was joining some kind of relief and support thing run by the government, so we decided to go with her. At least Yona seems to be doing okay today. August 1st. That nice lady from before used a book and turned into a monster. We ran away as fast as we could, because I don't think she's human anymore. Everything those adults told us was a lie. They won't give us money, and they won't treat Yona's illness. Also, there's a huge wall around the city now and we can't get out. We never should have come here. August 5th. It's so cold today. I can't believe it's summer. I can actually see my breath. We decided to hide from the monsters in an abandoned supermarket. We found a few old cans of food here, but now those are gone. Also, Yona's cough just won't quit. I've got a really bad feeling about this. Shit. Virtuous contract. Pod, relay the following to command. Mission complete. Destruction of target verified. I will return to the bunker after recovering the remains. Over. Pod, relay the following to command. I've made contact with the operations target. No suspicious activity observed at present. I will continue monitoring the target. Over. Pod, relay the following to command. I investigated the target's observational records but found no hostile behavior. Requesting target re-examination and the temporary suspension of this operation. Destruction of target verified. I make no apologies for I promised I would not. Farewell. Cruel Oath. I'm starting your boot sequence. As you lay resting before me, I call out to you. I want to let you sleep a little longer, but I've got my orders. Let's start by getting the brightness set. I was the first thing you saw after you woke up. I hope my hair looks alright. Let's check your voice recognition settings. Can you hear me? Mine was the first voice you heard after you woke up. I have to try and keep my voice nice and deep. I don't want to sound too excited. Okay, settings should be good to go. Good morning. And so we peacefully boot up to face yet another day. Another day of killing our machine enemies. Let's take a small break, do a little bit of combat, and then we'll read another chunk. Those were pretty interesting. Some seem to have lore implications, the others were just like short stories. We're here once again, Shadow Lord's castle.
その者、城への立ち入りを許可する。
どうやら先に進めるようだな。
Here we go.
ランジュラは
デボルさん、ポポルさん、どうしてこんなところに？
村に戻る気はないか？ここは入ったところで。
いかにしてここに来た？
俺たちは先に進む。
そうか、仕方ないわね。
I need to change something real quick.
君とは戦いたくなかったよ。本当に戦いたくなかった。
Change it so the cursor wasn't on the screen.
どうして？なぜなんだ、デボルさん。
これは最初から決められていた運命なんだ。でもできればあなたとは戦いたくなかった。それは本当。あと100年次の世代にしたかった。
何を言っているんだ。
こやつらは魔物か？
いや、違うよ。
嘘だ、嘘だ。ポポルさんたちがそんなわけない。
みんな殺せ殺せ殺せ殺せ。
Oh, I should probably change.
帰る。今だ、一気に攻めるぞ。
正直ここまで成長してるとは思っていなかったよ。
なぜだ？なぜお前たちが邪魔をする？
白の裏切りの輩にお前に質問される筋合いはない。
They're just spamming attacks over and over again. I'm so lost.
力をコピーされた。
ういざらし言葉使えるのか？
それはもともと私たちの力だからな。あなたはそれを分け与えられたに過ぎない。シロさん、大丈夫ですか？
どうしてなんだ、デボルさん、ポポルさん。なぜ魔物の味方なんかするんだ。
She's fucking slamming my ass. The targeting in this game is so jank because I've tried swapping targets like 4 times and it just doesn't let me.
What?
すべての謎の答えは魔王の御心にある。
魔王の仲間なのか、ずっと仲間だったのか。
答えはあなたが探してちょうだい。己の真実と向き合うために魔王の城へ入りなさい。
I feel like status effects, because they don't work here, I really don't need to have status effect words right now. Drain HP is still really fucking good though, but I have Drain HP and Drain MP. This is Poison though, which I really don't need. You really can't put anything else besides that. We'll keep the attack power on the spear. Actually, let's do this backwards. Let's give this, I think it's Basuloth, right? Let's give this Drain MP. And then let's give our sword. Let's give this the attack. I guess attack an EXP or something. There's really nothing else we could take. Let's give it the attack and poison.
シロ、大丈夫か。
おかしいぞ。我の最大の武器であるはずの口が回らなくなった。
シロさん。
多様な目をするでない。心配無用だ。大丈夫。
音楽、ワルツが聞こえます。
無党会とは合成であるな。
こいつら
魔物だ。
閉じ込められたみたいです。
いいさ、戻る気なんかない。
そうだな。
Ooh.
これじゃキリがない。
私が次の部屋への扉を開ける。援護してくれ。
武闘会どうせ
シロ、
ああすまぬ援護だな。
アイネさんを守ってあげてください。
カイネ、まだか。
まだですか。
寝かすな。私はこういう細かい仕事は苦手なんだ。
若者何をしておる。
めんどくさいもんはぶっ壊す。
やめろ。そんな無茶をして万が一。
万が一のことなど知るか。この扉開いたぞ。
おいカイネ、後ろ。
うせろ、化け物め。カイネ、大丈夫か。
アイネさんを助けないと。アイネさんを助けないと。
No, we don't need a helper. I'm trying to heal.
大丈夫か。
ああ、それよりも許してほしいなどと思ってはいない。
カイネ、
なんだ今のお前の心、憎しみでも悲しみでもないこの色は。
知るか。
アイネさん大丈夫ですか。
大丈夫だ。こいつらを蹴散らして先に進むぞ。
実に面白い。
火にも気をつけろ。
That fucking Goomba stomp is so annoying, man. Damn, that took a long ass time. What the fuck?
おい。
奴は不死身か。
本気でまずいです。
こんなところでやられくそ。
しっかりしろカイネ。あんなの相手にしていたらいつまでもヨナの元にたどり着けるぞ。
ここは先を急いだ方が良さそうですね。
行くぞ。
Get me out, get me out. Let's take this as a chance to read a little bit more. Yes. We've read the Okay, let's see. Two-handed swords. Kusanagi. The shield left hanging on the wall was covered in dust. The blade left in its scabbard had rusted over. The techniques I hadn't used were forgotten. The body I was to train was left to grow soft. I had lost the will to practice discipline. I thought things would end without a single word said. I pretended not to see violence inflicted by others. I had given up, assuming things would never change. I believed there was no way to oppose such a great power. I sneered at hearts that tried to believe anyway. I laughed, thinking them brainless fools. Those were the thoughts I had taken refuge in. I had given up, believing nothing was possible in the end. I lamented the foolishness and ugliness of it all. My life had lost all meaning. I had lost sight of those who were precious to me. I could not believe in their kindness. I was unable to save them from the grief that tore at their hearts. I had forgotten the courage it takes to protect the smallest of joys. I believed my words would never reach you. Acts of beheading. There once was a ritual gathering of spirits held on the night of the 10th full moon of the year. During the ceremony, they would gather on the shores of a lake and boast to one another of all the evil deeds they had performed during the year. The first spirit took great joy in telling of the unfathomably cruel ways she had killed some of the finest soldiers in the land. Over the year, she had transformed her shape into a lady of the night and called out to various men, then tore off every last piece of their body when they came to her bed. The soldiers, ashamed their skills could not save them, shed bitter tears as they died, and the spirit claimed they were the most delicious thing she had ever tasted. The next spirit regaled the others with a story of cunning and guile. One night, she threw a small boy into a bog. When his older sister came to rescue him, she too sank into the murk. These two were followed by their parents, then other siblings, then extended relatives, until finally every member of the village was sleeping at the bottom of the bog. When the spirit finished her story, she was so beside herself with glee that she did not even notice the saliva that dripped down her chin. Nervously, the smallest spirit in the group stepped forward to address the crowd. "I am the most amazing of us all," cried the oft-ridiculed spirit at the top of her lungs, "for it was I who thrust all living creatures into terror's deepest depths." The other spirits, unable to contain their mirth, collapsed to the ground and rolled about, and their laughter did not cease until the horrifying monster the small spirit had summoned from the demon world devoured each and every last one of them. Damn, that's pretty dark. Fang of the Twins. We've been together since we were born. We're together when we eat, when we sleep, and when we dream. We share everything. We share the milk we get from mommy and the nice things daddy says to us. But we're not together when we die. Daddy took me and cut off my head, and mommy took my sister and cut off her head. But it's okay, our blood got all mushed up into a big axe, so now we can be together forever. Yikes. Vile axe. The girl stares at the sight before her. Her father lies nearby, carved to pieces by countless blades. Her mother also lies dying, as well as her newborn baby brother. All had suffered terribly in their final moments, and the girl can do nothing but cry as she stares at the 3 soldiers who have murdered her only family. Years later, the girl reappears, her visage made strong by her vow for revenge. The first soldier had grown so fat that the buttons on his uniform can barely contain his girth. The girl approaches him and claims to know an easy way to lose weight. On the pretext of an examination, she has him lie down on a bed before suddenly hacking off his arms and legs with an axe. The remaining lump of soldier screams and attempts to wriggle away, but the girl pins him down and tells him he still has parts he can lose. Sometime later, the girl sits in front of the now rounded torso and smiles. "There we are," she whispers. "Look how nice and slim you are." The second soldier is a peerless Lothario. Each night, a new woman is invited to his manor to spend the night. The girl breaks into his home and kills the women at his side, then uses her axe to hack off his manhood as he trembles and begs for mercy. The third soldier has long since left the service and is now living a quiet life with his family in a remote village. After they have fallen asleep, the girl takes her axe and cleaves the support beams of the house, causing it to collapse. She then sets fire to the wreckage, creating a great bonfire that can be seen for miles in all directions. Suddenly, the soldier's son crawls from the wreckage, covered from head to toe in terrible burns. As his eyes fall on the girl who has murdered his family, she hands him her axe and flees into the dark of night, never to be seen again. So she did to them what they did to her. Beast Lord. Long, long ago, in a faraway kingdom, there were 3 brothers. The eldest brother was a king who ruled over the nation entire. He was the most terrifying king feared by all. Each day, the king would select one of his subjects to execute as a sacrifice. This day, he chopped off a mother's head and forced her family to watch. The head spun 3 times as it flew through the air before landing next to the head of her son, who the king had previously killed. Oh, the horror of it all. The king merely watched the sight unfold before him and laughed in a most unsettling voice. One day, the king contracted an illness most dire, one which caused his body to rot while he was still alive. But though diseased, the king would still drag his decaying flesh to the executions all the same. His retainers dared not defy their king, so they continued to kill day after day after day after day. In the end, the king rotted and died. His was a disgusting, foul, rotten death, but his retainers continued carrying out executions before the king's rotted corpse every day. Every day, killing. Every day, the rotted king and the rotted retainers and the rotted citizens and the rotted you. Iron Will. I raised the cry of my birth, the sound of heated iron taking shape, the steel mallet striking my form. Born to deliver karmic justice, I enter the world under the careful watch of spark and flame that give light to the gloom. I am a blade born of a deafening roar. I am a weapon. I am Iron Will. I grant death. I transform the dread and screams of my foes to elation. I festoon my iron skin with their viscera. When I rob them of life, I am filled with dark joy. When I crush them beneath me, I find a meaning in my birth. And I continue to kill that I might share this delight with all. I kill and kill and kill and kill. I am a weapon. I am Iron Will. I am shattered. At battle and blood's end, my body is torn asunder by malice and hate. Today, I again engage the Red Dragon in battle, and magical forces meet leaping iron fangs to create a bloodstorm. My steel cursed, I sink into the slumbering black. I am a weapon. I am Iron Will. I dream. It is a dream of a small butterfly. In it, the butterfly is caught in a light rain, struggling against it with all its might. In the darkest of nights, I behold a dream that will never come true. I am a weapon. I am Iron Will. So there's another mention of a red dragon, right? It was first mentioned in the world of what is it called? The World of Recycled Memories or something like that. The DLC. It was mentioned there, and now here. Phoenix Sword. This is a story of a time long, long ago. There was once a beautiful bird with resplendent feathers that lived a quiet life deep in the forest. One day, a lost child wandered into the woods. He came from a place of famine and had been abandoned in its forest as a way to reduce the number of mouths to feed. Taking pity on the feeble, starving child, The beautiful bird plucked one of its own feathers and gave it to him. When he returned home, his family was overjoyed by the feather and permitted him to live with them once more. Hearing the child's story, one person after another descended on the forest to tell the beautiful bird how poor and unfortunate they were. Each time, the bird would pluck a feather and give it away, pluck a feather and give it away, until it had no more to give and its once beautiful visage had become shabby beyond recognition. But the shabby bird had no regrets. One day, the original child appeared before the shabby bird, which was featherless and freezing in the cold. He had come seeking a bird with resplendent feathers, that he might repay the creature's earlier kindness. Overjoyed, the shabby bird said to the child, "It is I you seek. If I might beg a favor, would you hold me to your chest and warm my freezing body?" Sparing a single glance at the shabby bird, the child called it a liar and cut it down with a large blade. He then roasted the bird, ate every last part, and set out anew to find the beautiful bird who had once saved his life. Again, all of these seem very fucking grim short stories. Labyrinth Song. It was a beast that lived in a cavern's deepest, most untouched depths. It had massive horns, a body like steel, breath of scorching fire. The peace-loving villagers hated this monstrous beast with the head of a bull and the body of a human. They feared it, and soon the beast came to be known as the Minotaur of the Labyrinth. Contrary to its terrifying appearance, the Minotaur was exceptionally kind. Not only did it refrain from harming other creatures, it took great care not to trample flowers beneath its oafish feet as it walked. Indeed, the reason it lived so deep inside a cavern was to help avoid frightening the villagers. One day, a lost girl wandered into the beast's cavern. Frightened by the sight of it, she cried so hard she eventually passed out, which left the beast in quite the quandary. "I have no choice," the beast finally decided. "I must take the poor thing back to the village, for her mother and father will be terribly worried." 2 days after the girl vanished, her panicked parents found her sleeping soundly in front of their home. On the ground a short distance away was the dead body of the Minotaur. It had been impaled by several swords, and the blood scattered around it held an almost otherworldly quality. Yet there was no indication the beast had attacked the girl. In fact, it looked as though it had been trying to place as much distance between itself and her as possible, so as not to dirty her with its blood, almost as if it didn't want her to be afraid. And then, having curled up to make itself as small as possible, the monster died. Fool's Lament. Memoir, June 6, 2003, approximately 1500 hours. A massive white humanoid initially called the Weapon, but since renamed the Giant, falls from the sky above Tokyo's Shinjuku ward, inflicting tremendous damage. At the same time, a large red creature, henceforth referred to as the Dragon, appears and engages the Giant in combat, though both the nature of its attacks and their utility remain unclear. As the self-defense force contemplates methods by which they might attack the target, the government establishes a Bureau of Emergency Countermeasures. This might be the dragon that they're referring to, by the way, but now there's a giant. Memoir, June 12, 2003, approximately 1600 hours, so about a week after. The giant, which was locked in combat with the dragon, suddenly begins to collapse for reasons unknown. The dragon is then shot down by the 6th Division, 303rd Squad of the Air Self-Defense Force. No official record exists of who issued the order to attack the dragon. Work has begun to retrieve the remains of both the giant and the dragon, but no official verification has ever been made regarding which organization performed the retrieval. Memoir, December 2003, so about 6 months later. The first case of white chlorination syndrome is confirmed in Tokyo's Shinjuku ward. Memoir, July 2004, so 7 months later. Humans continue to turn violent due to white chlorination syndrome, with fighting growing increasingly intense in infected regions. With the cause of the disease still unclear, the infected are isolated and violent riots suppressed by force. Main thoroughfares are sealed and rail transportation is halted, later leading to all of Shinjuku being sealed off. At this time, the prospect of asking the American military for non-official intervention is considered, but the government defers. Meanwhile, research begins on mosso particles obtained from the giant and the dragon, as well as on countermeasures for white chlorination syndrome. This research ultimately leads to the founding of Project Gestalt a decade later. So this dragon and this giant came in, they fought and were killed, then we picked up the remains, and a couple of months after, people start getting sick with this white chlorination syndrome, which might be what caused them to create Project Gestalt, to create replicants, right? And then they transferred their soul out of their body. And I assume once the disease dies, they can transfer the souls back into them. And that's how the project was supposed to work. But, I mean, that's a theory, right? But that's probably not how it ended up turning out, considering the Shades later just became... not mindless, but they started attacking, and then people started killing Shades, and they never basically ended up coming together. Virtuous Treaty. My family has decided I am to be betrothed. I cannot resist, for I am but a tool. The man who became my husband possessed terribly cold eyes, but he too was a mere tool to be used so his family might prosper. He treats me well in his own way, but I was still unable to properly respond to his kindness. One night, he calls me to his chambers. Though still thinking him a kind man, I go to him willingly. As he greets me, I stare at the beautiful white katana he holds in his hand. Okay. I think we did manage to get some lore out of that, the fool weapons. So we'll do a little bit more combat and then we'll read the rest. No, leave me.
Kasa, Tedo to, Chi iru to te.
出土汗ようり一旦おきっとだ。
あらペルアと試練地無石音いらこく
いやすげえどうしてここにサルリとシータ改ざんとキロだろ
しか
いや新手三生体
うわりとてとらす眼下出陣でも
あらペルアと
飛んだで蹴りごいたり
アメリア土佐実地さんだとトネルタカイザムチとえタッカール奇跡おいやめろ離せやめろおおギ後でアリクラーサアコ開けろお前らだけじゃ無理だゆっくくおタオキアルタユート
Oh, this scene always gets me in my fucking feels, man.
勝てケイタルイトエチケロアルテリアだせ
ギウジ
各石騎士
真鍮カレルタ海山テラス
あんだあらたてウラーヌペルアとチ
ウラーヌカイマルトトラチ
おお開けるんだ
ぐずぐずするな行くぞ
カイネさん。
奴の戦いを無駄にするなフィーアのためにも
おう
I think that part gets me even more than Emil's part. Honestly, I think I do. I think that shit fucking cooks me more.
テーボルさんポポルさん
やっと来たね。待ちくたびれたわ。
どうしてなんだ
1300年前、滅びかけた人類が取った最後の手段、ゲシュタルト計画。
ゲシュタルト
白の書、思い出せないの？なら思い出させてやる。
白
思い出したぞ。デボルポポル、なんじらは人間にあらず。
口ごもったね。言いづらいかい？私たちだけじゃないわ。今ここにいる全員が。
何を
まだわからないかな。
そんな。じゃあこの世界に人間は存在しないんですか？
いいな。我らが魔物と呼んでいるあれが人間だったものの慣れの果ての姿だ。
さ、 おしゃべりは終わり。
そんな。
お前のその体を返してもらおう。悪く思わないでね。私たちの長い人生はあなたたちにはあなたたちの理由がある。私たちには私たちの理由がある。そういうことだ。
格好つけるな、バカ。
そうだな。所詮は道具なんだ。私たちもお前も。
違う。俺はお前たちとは違う。
Shit. Can you not?
ではダメ。私たちがなぜ双子に作られたか今分かった。魂のない私たちが。喋らないで。血が止まらない。デボル、一人で生きるにはこの世界は寂しすぎるんだ。時間が長すぎるんだ。涙は流せるのに魂がないなんて本当におかしな話だよ。ごめんなポポル。いや、デボル、置いていかないで。私を一人にしないで。やだ、
ポポルさん、もうやめよう。
やめようって。お前にそんな自由があると思ってるの？デボルを殺しておきながらよくもそんな。
やめてください。今ならまだ。
もう遅えんだよ。何もかもみんな殺してやる。
ポポルさん、俺はあんたとデボルさんに育てられたようなもんなんだ。頼むからやめてくれ。
奴らは年も取らずにずっと見てきたのだ。長すぎる歴史を、真実を。
なんでポポルさんと戦わなければならない。
剣を止めるな。進みたいなら倒せ。倒すしかないんだ。
お前ら殺せ。
橋が
まずい。進めなくなるぞ。
僕が何とかします。
ダメか。クソ。
The laugh is fucking psychotic. But she is also crazy,
大
so.
丈夫です。僕、少年だった頃の石化させてしまうメモ。この醜い体になってからの姿も本当に嫌でした。だけど同時に誇りでした。だってこの姿のおかげでみんなと仲間になれたもの。皆さんありがとうございます。
エミール。
今人を守るための兵器になれること、本当に感謝しています。
よせ。
さあ行ってください。
エミール。
僕なら大丈夫ですから。
エミール。エミール。
エミール。
心な時に喧嘩しないといいけれど、もう僕は仲裁できませんからね。あなたにもう一度会いたい。あなたに死にたくないな。死にたくないよ。
Oh shit, I didn't notice there was dots there. I was like, why is nothing moving? Eyes closed, eyes open, it matters not. The dark is joined by a mysterious sensation, one created by the mingling of blissful sleep with the unease of a terrible, never-ending cold. Is this a dream? Thinking to pinch his cheek, he reaches for his face, but his hand does not move. In fact, his hand had disappeared altogether. He looks at his arms and sees only bone. He looks at his feet and sees they have disappeared, along with the rest of his legs up to the thigh. What body remains begins to leave him, then crumbling into fragments smaller than dust. His body is going. Soon it will be no more. Is this death? Suddenly he recalls his past. He remembers the time he lived with his sister, and the very act of recollection is like a shooting star. Despite lasting only a moment, it brings color to the darkness. Soon more memories come, gathering atop each other, one after the next, until they meld into a warm and glorious light. I don't remember if we read this one. I don't think so, because I think it would have asked us. It normally asks us for repeat. But we'll read it. Wake up! Wake up! A set of covers are torn from the boy, leaving his eyelids exposed to the merciless sun. Hey there, lazy bones, says the voice again. The boy's vision, blurry at first, gradually grows more clear. Before him, her face aglow with a radiant smile, is his older twin sister, Halua. Morning, Halua. Don't look so cheery, you butt. The teacher's gonna be here any minute. Halua grabs her brother and pulls him beneath the bed with her, where they wait with a host of dust bunnies for their instructor's arrival. The moment Emil starts to ask a question, Halua shushes him by placing a finger over his mouth. Don't start. We agreed to this yesterday, remember? We're gonna jump out and give teacher the scare of her life. After a few ticks of the clock, the door opens and a slight woman enters the room. Good morning, Halua. Good morning, Emil. Are you ready for... Emil glances at his sister and sees her trying to stifle a laugh, which is the unfortunate effect of making a laugh rise in him. And the dust bunnies decide to get in on the act, swirling up into their noses and causing the tricksters to sneeze in unison. Suddenly, the face of their teacher appears in the space between the bed and the floor. There you are, you scamps. This is your fault, says Halua. You ruined it by sneezing. Me? Cries a clearly wounded Emil. You sneezed just as loud. That's enough, both of you, says the teacher, as she attempts to hide her amusement. Crawl out from under there and let me take your temperatures already. The pair happily shimmies out their hiding place and stands before their teacher. She is a fair woman with a kind voice, one Emil would be happy to listen to for the rest of his life. In fact, he often thought that her waking him In the morning was his favorite part of the day. The teacher finds her seat, hunkers down, and lightly pats her leg, to which a happy Emil leaps into her lap. She then slides a chilly thermometer under his armpit, causing a shudder to race through his body. I'm sorry, just be a brave boy for a little longer, alright? Emil used to hate having his temperature taken daily. The thermometer was just so darn cold, but he's become used to it after being at the facility for the past 2 years. His mother and father had perished in an accident many years before. He'd been told the facility they sent him to was simply a home for orphans such as himself, but he'd always had his doubts. After all, most orphanages weren't staffed by doctors in white coats who held lessons involving the repeated asking of strange questions, nor did they attach wires to the bodies of their charges and force them to enter enormous boxes. The process is endless, the tests unceasing, and yet Emil feels his teacher somehow floats above it all. He would talk to him about everyday problems, read him books, and even share a meal when time permitted. She is the closest thing he has to a mother. With both of their temperatures taken, Emil and Halua wait for breakfast, but something is different this day. Their teacher is strange, somehow, off. Emil, she says quietly, do you remember what day this is? Emil looks over to his sister and sees her staring at him with an enormous grin. Nuh-uh, she says, you gotta figure it out yourself. But despite his best efforts, Emil comes up empty. I'm sorry, ma'am, he says at last. I just don't know. With a smile, their teacher reaches into the pocket of her white coat and withdraws a small package. It is a bag, neatly closed with string and tied at the top with a bright red ribbon. Happy birthday, Emil, she says. In fact, happy birthday to the both of you. Oh, thank you, cries Emil. Can I open it? Of course, replies his teacher. I'm afraid it's nothing so special, but I do hope you enjoy it regardless. Emil carefully unties the ribbon and opens the bag to reveal a small pile of cookies. They are the same snacks they always received at the facility, but the fact they come from his teacher makes them somehow special. As a gasp escapes his mouth, his sister can't help giggling beside him, her eyes fixated on the bright red ribbon all the while. Happy birthday, Halua, says Emil as he reaches into the bag, withdraws a cookie, and offers it to his sister. Needing no further encouragement, the girl crams the cookie into her mouth and swallows it in 2 bites. Happy birthday to you too, Emil. Then, as though remembering something, he leaps up and runs to the small chest of drawers the two of them share. After forcing open a stubborn drawer, she pulls out a single sheet of paper hidden under a white coat and runs it back to her brother. Here's your present, she says, thrusting the paper at him with a slightly embarrassed look. When he glances down, he sees the words Happy Birthday, Emil, scrawled in a shaky child's hand, along with a picture of a generously colored person who had clearly been created from every crayon in the box. That was me. Unable to stop himself, Emil wraps his sister in a massive hug. Thank you, he whispers as she returns the embrace just as tightly. I'll make sure to draw you on our next birthday, okay? My sister was there. My teacher was there. It was my birthday. I thought I could never be happier. I'm glad Halu's drawing is the last thing I'll remember. I sense a deep and perfect darkness descending over my eyes and realize my time has come. I'm so terribly cold. As I try desperately to remember what it felt like to be embraced, I wonder if this horrible face is all that's left of me. Halua, I'm sorry. I couldn't keep my promise. But I'm coming to join you now. Just hold on. Halua, have you come for me? Am I dead? In that moment, the world of blackness surrounding me explodes with color. Red, yellow, blue, and so many others. Colors I have no names for. Colors I've never ever even seen. It's like someone is using every crayon in the box. Halua, I don't.
姉さんなんだから弟を守るのは当たり前。
Her voice, it's fading.
もう魔力が持たないみたい。
Halua, wait. Let me come
大
with
丈
you.
夫よエミール。ずっと一緒見守ってる。
Halua, no. Don't go.
泣かないで笑っていてほしいの。約束してね。私の分まで生きて。
The darkness enveloping me flows away, replaced by a brilliant blue sky. I don't know where I am or what I'm supposed to do, but it's okay that I'm here. I know that much now. She's given me the courage to accept that. No more crying. I'll live with a smile on my face, because that's the promise I made her.
行くぞ。
ああ。
Okay. One more weapon section to get done and over with. We also got the Gestalt document, so we can read those after the weapon stories to see if it makes more sense. Spears, transients. They were a frighteningly diligent people. They would clear forests and hunt animals even when they had no need. They developed techniques to preserve food they weren't able to eat and earned more money than could ever be spent. Yet there was not a single one among them who did not accept these practices, for none knew of any other customs. They were a frighteningly studious people. Their grasp of calculation and science exceeded any pretense of practicality, and they would repeatedly engage in spirited debates regarding predictions of the future. They invented an increasingly difficult language and created an infinite series of complex machines which they would immediately discard. But there was not a single one among them who looked back, for none knew of any reason for concern. 1 second. Okay. They were a frighteningly obedient people. Without ever being told, they would greet the morning sun at the same time in the same clothes, while toiling away in the same cramped rooms. Yet there was not a single one among them who complained, for none knew what else they should be doing. Having worked far too much, the people lost their forests and took to living atop the sand. Having grown far too intelligent, the people conversed in a language that no other peoples could comprehend. Having grown far too well behaved, the people were unable to defy the laws that would be established one after the other, and came to live their lives enclosed by tens of thousands of rules. This is for the people of the mask. It's kind of cool. Spear of the Usurper. In a far-off land, there was a man who acted as a double for the nation's prince, performing duties in his stead as was required. One day, having finished his work, he returned to the prince's chamber to find the princess lying naked in his bed. As the double stood in place, dumbfounded, the man who shared his face sneered and invited him to join them. The double loved the prince's sister, and he felt that the princess, who admired him as her brother, loved him as well. Indeed, she was the only thing that kept him going in an otherwise miserable job, for the prince was a most despicable man indeed. Eventually, it came to pass that a war was to be waged under the prince's command. The night before it was to begin, the prince took his double aside and promised him a night with his sister if he could bring him the head of the enemy general. And as the prince chuckled with delight, the double took up his spear and thrust it into the prince's gaping mouth. The war over, the prince made a queen of his sister and would inflict wounds upon his own face and throat, an act which would occur every time she called out to him using her brother's name. Before long, the prince was found dead, his face burned and a spear thrust through his open mouth. The man's face, hideously burned, was the very picture of serenity. The Devil Queen. This story takes place in a small country at around the same latitude as the northernmost member of a nation of city-states that are part of a religion, with a village that is attempting to establish a trade with another village on a tiny island in the ocean south of a country that used to have an alliance with a republic next to a kingdom where a queen resided. That's a whole sentence, by the way. It was asked by the owner of a shop frequented by a wet nurse who looked after the child born of an adulterous relationship by the wife of the master of a foolish servant who fell in love with a beautiful queen who appears in the poems of a minstrel whom was loved by the country's king's wife's little brother's cousin's big brother's son-in-law foster child. Oh my lord. Where does one store the throne that was supposed to be adorned with decorations crafted from the materials of the handle of the lid of a pot that is the same weight as tableware that is the same color as a weather vane on a neighboring house that can be seen from the peephole of a door in the reflection of a mirror with an ornamental frame decorated with silver carvings engraved with a fragment that was made when creating the whetstone used to polish the kitchen knife? The person who heard that question was the wife's husband's little sister's big brother's daughter's groom, little brother's... Oh my lord, okay, it's a meme. That's fine. There's just no way. It's a whole ass meme, man. Sunrise. In the distant past of a land known as the Golden Isle, there existed a sword crafted from every kind of metal and precious gem in the land. So sharp was its edge that even the slightest cut would leave an unsealable wound that eventually drained the victim of both their blood and life. In a strange turn of fate, the sword eventually ended up in the hands of a destitute woman who sold her body to get by. The sword was as long as she was tall, and she could not wield it effectively, so she instead slid it between her sheets as a surprise for the men who used her. The sword was so sharp, they felt no pain when cut, and soon died without even knowing it was happening. The woman would then help herself to their coin, causing her own purse to swell. Making use of her gains, the woman dressed most beautifully, and soon had acquired every kind of metal and precious gem in the land, but it was not enough for her. So she decided to melt down the sword and obtain the gems contained within, a desire made manifest by the sword's beauty. Thus decided, the woman heaved the sword to her shoulders and made for the blacksmith, but on the way to the smith, the sheer weight of the sword caused the woman to lose her balance, and she fell from a bridge into the river below. So unshakable was the woman's greed that she could not bring herself to relinquish her grip upon it. The woman's pale and bloodless corpse was found washed up on the riverside the following day. Beast Curse. Long, long ago in a faraway kingdom, there lived 3 brothers. The youngest was a terrifically lazy lad who spent most of his days fast asleep. However, he was every bit as cheerful as he was lethargic, and so was beloved by all. When the nation was beset upon by a most contagious disease, the youngest son did not but laze about the palace, humming to himself all the while. But his cheerful music comforted the townspeople, so instead of hating him, they sang his praises. "Oh, what a fine young man," they would say. "Just the finest young man you will ever find." When the nation became embroiled in war, the youngest son did not but laze about the palace, telling stories of the good old days all the while. But his fascinating stories helped the townspeople forget the horrors of war, so instead of hating him, they sang his praises. "Oh, what an amazing young man," they would say. "Just the most amazing young man you will ever find." One day, the youngest son was lazing about the palace as usual when he realized he could no longer hear the voices of the townspeople, and he wondered why that might be. He lazed and he wondered. He lazed and he wondered. And he lazed and he wondered. Eventually, all that wondering tired him out, and he went to sleep. That is why, in that nation where all have perished from war and disease, the only sound that can be heard is the soft snoring of a young man. It is a nation of happiness. A nation of happiness. A nation of happiness. Captain's Holy Spear. The captain tramples life under his feet. The screams of others transform into songs of joy. Flowing tears change from despair into darkness. Conflict beckons revenge and gives way to new solitude. Dragoon Lance. He had grown old. The king's dauntless gaze had lost its light, and his stalwart body had grown soft. What's more, every ounce of fear and vanity he had gained with age now gnawed away at his heart. The king was afraid, so he repeatedly ordered the invasion of neighboring countries so as to hold on to the lands he had been sworn to protect. The king was afraid, so he tried to take everything through violence and oppression, for he no longer trusted his own advisors and vassals. There was a dragon that had sworn fealty to the king. This wingless creature would do anything the king commanded, for he had been saved by the king once and sworn to repay this debt with his very soul. Even if the king's order were folly and madness, the dragon would follow them to the last, for his king was justice itself. One day, the dragon requested an audience with the king. He was covered in blood from his latest victim, the king's own son, who the regent had ordered the dragon to assassinate. The bloody dragon hung his head low and said, "I cannot defy your orders, O king, but neither can I obey them any longer. I beg of you, kill me and grant me release." This is a tale of a foolish king and a wingless dragon in a nation that fell centuries ago. Even now, the wind blows ceaselessly across the grasslands. It blows just as it did on the day king and dragon made their pact. Phoenix Spear. There was once a warrior in a frontier nation who feared not death. He was so brawny and powerful, arrows were set to bounce harmlessly off his flesh. For this reason, the warrior always threw himself into the thick of any battle. One day, a beautiful bird appeared before the warrior in a dream. The bird commended the warrior for his valor in battle and offered to grant him one of two wishes. The bird could bring an end to war and grant peace to all the world, or the bird could bequeath the warrior an immortal body. The warrior chose immortality. From that day forth, the warrior's exploits were nothing short of astonishing. He mowed down foes in uncountable numbers. No amount of arrows or swords or axes could slow his march. The king showered him with titles and gifts, and for a time, it seemed the warrior's days of stunning glory would continue until the end of time. But conflict did not cease. Eventually, the warrior's frontier nation was invaded. So often did the flames of war left the entire country in ruins. Crops withered, people perished, and before long, there were none left who even knew the warrior's name. The shattered warrior was tortured day and night by endless starvation, but his body refused to let him die. So he sought out the bird again and pleaded for it to grant him release. "Ah, but you cannot die," chirped the bird in response. "You will never die." Labyrinth's Shout. She was a hopelessly slow woman. Impossibly clumsy, it would take her 3 times longer than anyone else to accomplish a task. She walked slowly, talked slowly, she even blinked slowly. So slow was the woman that she could not even draw water to anyone's satisfaction. The children began calling her the cow and laughing when she passed by, but she would only chuckle in response. She was a hopelessly dull woman. When she fell and drew blood, she would carry on as though in a daze. Though coins often dropped from her purse, she never managed to retrieve one. And if someone spoke ill of her to her face, it would take hours for her to realize the insult. When the children saw her, they would hurl rocks with glee. She was a hopelessly foolish woman. One summer, when the village was suffering a most terrible drought, the woman vanished. The children all starved to death. The villagers spent no time worrying about the woman who ran away. 2 days later, rain fell and the village was saved, but the woman did not return. And on the 20th day, a shaman arrived at the village. The shaman held a spear with a pair of horns that was oiled and sticky to the touch. So heavy was the spear that none could wield it effectively, although even if they managed to lift it, the weapon was incapable of piercing through anything at all. The shaman forced it on the people and left it with them, but none dared approach it, and to this day it quietly slumbers in a forgotten corner of the village. Fool's Accord. This is the story of a sorrowful prince, a tale of a kingdom in a time long past. Attacked by the forces of darkness, the nation was annihilated in a single night by inhuman soldiers with red eyes and a group of black dragons so numerous they blotted out the sky. Having infiltrated the king's castle, the black dragons visited upon the king and queen a most horrible fate. It is said that their stomachs were torn open by the black dragon's mighty claws, and the very floor they stood upon became a sea of blood. The prince and princess, though racked with sorrow, escaped to live another day. The prince, spurred by the shock of witnessing his parents' tragic end, became consumed by a desire to exact revenge. This is the story of a terrifying prince, a history of a conflict in the long ago. Obsessed with laying low his hated enemies, the prince indulges in his vengeance day after day after day. Even when faced with foes who take heel, He chases them down and tears them apart from groin to gullet. The carnage is so horrific. His fellow soldiers whisper tales of how they saw him mutilating bodies that are already long dead. Perhaps because no commander can control him, the prince is sent to an even harsher battle. This is the story of a fooled prince, the whereabouts of fate in the long ago. The prince's next battleground is a castle that guards a goddess. He lays waste to all before him, hacking arms, cleaving legs, rending stomachs, gouging eyes, separating heads from shoulders. But soon, the injured prince can no longer tell the difference between the blood that rains down and that which comes from his own wounds, and he collapses in a heap. As he writhes in pain, coughing up gouts of hot blood, he lifts his gaze and sees a hated dragon standing before him. This is the story of a mad prince, a meeting with a dragon in the long ago. An injured red dragon stands before the prince, and though it is a different color than the beasts that killed his parents, he feels the need to avenge himself upon it regardless. But as he raises his sword, the dragon says, "In exchange for both our souls, human, I will save your life and grant you power." After some thought, the prince makes the pact. It matters not to him what he might lose in the deal or that it involves a dragon. All he cares about is that he can continue swinging his blade. So he swings and swings and swings, and with each blow, his heart fills with a desire as black as the deepest night. So this prince meets the dragon, and this prince and the dragon fight the giant, and they somehow end up causing the white chlorination syndrome that leads to Project Gestalt. Virtuous dignity. There once existed a cursed spear whose holder would inevitably meet a violent end. Eventually, the weapon found its way to a mechanical automaton that possessed no soul. And though it was a mere machine, the spear delivered countless deaths upon it all the same. The automaton warred against mechanical weapons much like itself. It was crushed to death, burned to death, and thrown to its death from great heights. Yet each time, the automaton was reborn and thrown into battle anew. The war became fiercer and more complicated. There were self-detonation suicide attacks, false operations, and betrayals by companions. Indeed, it seemed to the soulless automaton that it was inhabiting a kind of infinite, cyclical hell. Finally, the automaton died a final time in order to save its trusted companions, an act that precluded the possibility of ever returning to life again. But as pangs of agony spread through its body, the automaton found its final rest. Those are all the weapon lores we got. Now let's read through these again. I think we've read these before. Yeah, we've read these before. So I'm not going to read them again. Okay. Well, the weapons at least shed some story as to how we got here. The dragon and the giant probably caused the white chlorination syndrome. And that's what led to Project Gestalt. And it led to these replicants being made. Which is where Brother NIER and Yona come from, basically. I am taking negative damage. They don't know what they're dealing with. One more hallway.
として生きている。
ヨナ、何もかも終わらせてやる。
派手にぶちかませ。道具の分際で我らが王に歯向かうとは愚か者。我らではない。我とお前は違う。一括りにするな。
気をつけろ。分かってる。はい。面白い。お前の心の中実に面白く進化した複雑回帰だ。憎しみでもなく悲しみでもなく、ただ白く光る波がさらさらと流れてくるぞ。なんだこの感情は。
わからない。私は様々な声を持ってきた。その過程で同情も恐怖も憎悪も経験した。私は知っている。私は汚れている。私は間違っている。私は呪われている。あいつはそんな私を受け入れてくれた。許してくれた。
あいつのために。
この狂った世界で過ごす時間がまだ少しでもあるのなら、奴は刃になって死んでやる。シロ、大丈夫か。
よな。
やめよう、お兄ちゃん。ヨナ、もういいの。他の人の体いらない、欲しくない。この体の中にはもう別の女の子がいるよ。ずっと泣いてるの。お兄ちゃんに会いたいって。
ヨナが魔物に。
この女の子もお兄ちゃんが大好きみたい。ヨナと一緒だよ。会えないのかわいそう。あなたがお兄ちゃん。
ああ、そうだ。一緒に帰ろう。
ごめんね。ごめんね。お兄ちゃん、ごめんね。ごめんね。お兄ちゃん、大好き。
今だ。妹についていた魔物は消えた。
Alright, Shadow Lord, let's go once again. I hit you with a 200 hit combo. I can do it again.
はい、ヨナを頼む。お前の悲しみがわかるだなんて、そんな都合のいいことは言わない。俺はただ仲間と妹を守るだけだ。彼女たちを危険にさらす者が
Oh,
い
I
れば
remember this part.
倒すだけだ。
Yeah, he's just gonna send the waves.
魔王。シロ、大丈夫か。
様子がおかしいぞ。シロ。
Oh, it was 3 last time and now it was 5. Fuck. I was doing so good at dodging there, man. I was about to say that looks fucking sick. I'm proud.
しばし待たれよ。
大丈夫か？
心配無用と言いたいとこだがな。
シロ。
いったったった。どこかのバカ者に乗せられて無茶をしすぎたようだ。戦う骨董品は世の中にそうあるまい。
シロ、ごめんごめん、俺。
おい、真に受けるな。冗談だ。
だって
さあ、突っ立ってないでそこをどけ。我には最後の大任があるのだ。
何する気だ？
あやつの動きを止める。そしてその後はお前に任せた。この先はお前一人の戦いだ。しっかり頑張るのだぞ。
嫌だ嫌だ、俺はまだ素人。
まったく、我はお前のそういう単純なところが好きであった。楽しかったな。お前といると本当に楽しかった。しかしここでお別れだ。
シロ。
そうそう、一つ言い忘れておった。
何？
シロというな。本当は結構気に入っていたのだぞ。
シロ、知ってた。
生意気なやつめ。
And we lose Vice again. Can I not roll? I tried rolling there and nothing happened.
守るものがある。生きる意味があるんだ。お前は
Fuck. Again. I got two into my head that it looked nice. Because I jumped to dodge that and it looked sick. Oh, she's getting cooked.
幸せそうだな。
ああ、よかった。
カイネ、お前の体はもう俺の意志ではどうにもならんところまで蝕まれてる。
分かってる。
くそ、楽しかったな。殺して殺して殺して大満足だ。
そうか。
Oh no.
違う楽しくなんかない。お前を飲み込んで暴力の塊になって悪意を世界にまき散らせるっていうのに、なんでこんなに虚しいんだ。なんでこんなに悲しいんだ。
きっと私の中に長くいすぎたせいだな。すまない。
俺に優しくしないでくれ。こんな気持ちにさせないでくれ。 もうダメだ。俺がお前を飲み込んでしまう。
カイネ、どうしたんだ。
いいか、私の左半身の魔物のもう間もなく。
止められない。もう俺には止められないんだ。
そんな。
いいから聞け。もうエミールはいない。私を止める方法はないんだ。お願いだ。そうなる前に私を殺せ。最後の頼みだからな。
Oh, she's juiced.
.暴走したゲシュタルトに意識なんかない。お前と俺の記憶は全部塗りつぶされちまうんだ。
カイネ。
Oh fuck, what the fuck is that? I can't hit it. I don't have any fucking spells either. Shit.
カイネがいたからここまで来れたんだ。お前に出会えたから今の俺があるんだ。絶対に諦めたりしないからな。愛する人一人に助けられないで。俺が必ず
Oh my
お前を
god.
助ける。
助ける方法ならある。
誰だ。
そんなことはどうでもいい。
お前は。
聞け。カイネを助ける方法はある。だがお前にとってそれは辛い選択になるか
構わない。助ける方法があるならさっさと言ってくれ。
タイミングを見て俺がカイネの動きを止める。その隙を逃すな。剣できっちりさせ。
そんなことしたらカイネはどうなる。
俺を信じられないか。ならこのままカイネを見殺しにするんだ。くそ。
I don't think I can hit her. She fucking hurts. That's with a defense drop. I'm getting fucking cooked. Shit. The best defense is a good offense, right? The faster I get this over with, the less I have to tank.
よくやった。お前の大切なカイネを救うには2つの方法がある。一つはカイネの胸に剣を突き立てる方法。それはカイネの望みであり、この5億からの解放。
もう一つは
カイネを元の人間に戻す方法。この方法を取るならお前の存在という交換の品が必要だ。ほら、選んでみろよ。
お前はカイネの中にいる魔物だな。なぜカイネを助けようとする？
多分お前と同じ理由だ。さあ、選べ。
カイネ。カイネ、一緒に帰ろう。
聞こえるか？俺は長年カイネの中にあって奴を苦しめてきた。それはすなわちカイネの苦しみを肌で感じてきたということだ。気が遠くなるほどの苦しみを。だからわかるのだ。今カイネに苦しみはない。お前のおかげでカイネは許され救われた。カイネの最後の言葉を伝えよう。
ありがとう。
カイネ。ずっと一緒だ。
What an ending. I assume the last ending we need is picking the other option. Sacrificing yourself, right? A, B, and C. Done. Only level 49. Okay. It's a good place to stop. Kind of shorter stream, 3 hours instead of the normal 4 or 5. But that's all we have to do today. Next stream, probably gonna be Baldur's. But we're definitely gonna work on getting the next ending soonish. It should be a lot less work now because we've literally done every quest, gone every word we want, finished the DLC, and upgraded every weapon. So at this point, maybe we can probably get through the D route in a stream or two tops, right? Or maybe like a decent length stream and then like a shorter stream could work, right? But yep, to anybody who came out tonight, thanks for coming out, guys. I really do appreciate it. I'm gonna go ahead and head out. You guys take it easy and have a good one, all right? Peace.